V'yahavta l'recha kamocha. The translation is, love your fellow as you love yourself. It seems easy, right? And yet, about 2,000 years later, since the destruction of our second temple, we're still here. So is it that easy after all? Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be able to share another thought. First, before we begin, please everyone make sure to like and subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. And as always, please make sure to comment down below any of your thoughts or ideas. I would love to hear from you. This topic is going to be based on loving your fellow as you love yourself. In Hebrew, it's v'yahavta l'recha kamocha. I specifically chose this topic at this time due to the fact that we are entering the great passing of our great sage, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai lived at the times right after the destruction of the second temple, of our second temple. His principal, his teacher, his principal was Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, "V'yahavta l'reacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah." Love your fellow as you would love yourself. This is the whole Torah. It's a very strong statement. To love your fellow as you love yourself. This is the entire Torah. It's a lot. And yet he was right. Because till today, we have still not fulfilled this commandment. In short, the destruction of our second temple in the spiritual side, because in the physical side we had the Romans and they destroyed the second temple. The spiritual side came from our part. We did not fulfill loving our fellow as we love ourselves. And 2,000 years later, since the destruction of our second temple, we're still here. So God is telling us we have not fulfilled. The first temple was destroyed, and 70 years later, it was rebuilt because they corrected the sin that was committed at that time. So God said, okay, you rectified your sin. The second temple was built. For the second temple's destruction, the cause, we're still here. The Lubavitcher Rebbe gave a couple of talks in a book called The Rebbe Speaks to Children. Rabbi Akiva, the great rabbi and teacher of the Jewish people, had two kinds of students. One learned before the passing of Lag BaOmer, and a second group of students learned after the passing of Lag BaOmer. Lag is a numerical value for 33, Lag, so it's a short way of expressing. And BaOmer is we are in the counting days of the Omer. During this time, we are in a kind of mourning period. We do not listen to music, we do not cut our hair, and we do not buy new clothing. Rabbi Akiva's students passed away because they did not respect one another. They did not have love for one another. 24,000 students passed away due to a plague at that time. Again, this is the physical, there was a plague and 24,000 students passed away. The spiritual counterpart is the fact that they did not love one another, they did not respect one another. Lag BaOmer, we commemorate with celebration the passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He did not pass away due to the plague, he passed away many years later. But it falls out at this time. Asked that his passing should be commemorated not the regular way, which is through mourning and sadness and grief for his passing. He has asked that we should commemorate it with joy. He was the author of the Zohar. Zohar was bringing more light into the mystics of the teachings of the Torah. And thus we commemorate with bonfires, which the Torah is light. So we commemorate it with bonfires. That's the significance. As well as we commemorate this day with lots of music, cutting hair, and buying new clothing. Once and again, because Rabbi Akiva's students stopped passing away. And this is a day to rejoice for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's passing as he has asked of us to do so. After Lag BaOmer, and we have a couple of days till the holiday of Shavuot, which is the time of the giving of the Torah, Rabbi Akiva's students stopped dying. And as the Rebbe says here, the second group of students tried with all their might to learn Torah with Avas Yisrael. They learned in peace and friendship, honoring and respecting each other. Obviously, we do not do the same mistake a second time. The students who learned after, there was no more plague, and they lived with loving your fellow as yourself. Unfortunately, we did not see yet the third temple. The Rebbe goes on to say how to bring this part of our day-to-day lives and make this practical. And the Rebbe stresses between Sormei Ra, which is stay away from evil, Va'asei Tov, and do good. The mitzvah of Avas Yisrael, first we must love our fellow as we love ourselves. And the second part is we must be very careful not to hurt or insult another Jew. If you yourself hate something, don't do it to another Jew. The literal translation of Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha is whatever you wouldn't want someone to do to you, don't do it to them. It's not always easy to do both parts of this. When we do a favor for another Jew, we give him tzedakah, charity, or help him in some way, we think that we no longer have to respect him so much. Since I'm anyhow giving him charity or doing him a favor, that's it. I don't have to be careful to respect him. He owes me a favor. This way of thinking is especially common when we help a person not just one time, but many times. Just the opposite is true, says the Rebbe. When Hashem gives a Jewish person the opportunity to help another person, they should be grateful that they have the chance to help another person, another Jew, another person. They should help the other person joyfully and generously. They must also be very careful not to hurt the feelings of the person they helped and to respect him and honor him even more than before. To bring it part of our day-to-day lives would be as well to try to encourage ourselves to do something for another person's sake, not for our own. No strings attached. I love this person. Express something positive, something that you love that person, doing it for that person's sake, not for your own. And hopefully all this positivity to try to encourage love for one another should bring more positivity into this world. See you in the next one.